I'm a sucker for coffee fragrances. I just can't get enough of them. And you know what bothers me the most is that I can't even drink coffee because I'm like allergic to caffeine and it'll literally explode my head and kill me. Lately, I've been on the hunt, just looking for the perfect coffee fragrance. I just love that smell and I just cannot find one. Some of them are good, but not the best. I was a little bit excited to see recently that Fragrance World released a new coffee collection. Now there's 5 fragrances in this collection, and guess what? I have all 5 of them, and we're gonna discuss it and smell them and talk about them today. And you know what? What's the best part of this, you may ask yourself? Well, it's the price, because these are budget fragrances. You can pick these up for about $35 a piece. The first one up is Caramel Macchiato. Now let's talk about the bottle real quick. These bottles are super nice, especially for $35. I mean, they're kind of similar. They almost remind me of like a Aaron bottle, if you're familiar with that brand, or maybe something like an Electimus. I actually have an Electimus bottle. Hold on a second. I have an Electimus bottle right here. You can kind of compare. They're about the exact same size, honestly. I think the Electimus is a little bit heavier, but I mean, the quality of the Fragrance World Coffee Collection bottles are really good. The only thing that's kind of strange to me is the bottom of these. You have this nice heavy glass, really nice cap, and then you have this like plastic white base. And originally when I saw it, I almost thought you could twist it off, but I don't know. I mean, I don't hate it. The color's nice, but I feel like if they would have brought the full glass bottle look all the way down, I don't know, I think it would have been way nicer, to be honest. All right, so here's Caramel Macchiato. Let's give this a couple sprays on the old test strip here, shall we? Really nice atomizers too. It's almost amazing for the price. Okay, so right off with this one. As soon as I smell the Caramel Macchiato, I get hit with like a little bit of soft, spicy cinnamon right off, and then you get that caramel or the caramel note, which I'm gonna say, but you get that right off. And here's the thing, I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little disappointed because I'm not getting like too much coffee in this one. It almost smells exactly like, if you got a Caramel Macchiato, it smells like the syrup that's on top, like the synthetic, super sugary, super sweet caramel syrup. Now, I will let you know that I did wear all of these in this collection this past couple weeks, so I'm very familiar with these fragrances, and I'm very familiar with the dry downs. Now, the dry down on this one, honestly, it starts off good, a little bit of cinnamon, very caramely, sick, sweetly sick. I mean, that's the problem. This one, to me, became the most cloying of all of them. This one started literally choking me out. It's just, I don't know, it smells good, but it's just a little too sweet for my personal taste. If you like ultra sweet fragrances, I mean like real sweet, like it smells like you're actually pouring this caramel all over your face, then I think you'll dig this one. If you don't like sweet fragrances, you're looking for more of like a black coffee, this is not for you. If you're looking for more of like just a stronger coffee fragrance like I was, you know, like a little bit of cream in it, this is not for you. But once again, we get a little bit of cinnamon, ultra caramel, not too realistic, I would say a little bit more synthetic, or like a realistic syrup, and that's what you get with this one. Not bad, not my favorite out of the collection, but not bad for $35. The quality of all these fragrances is definitely there. I mean, they punch way higher, way above their price class. Next up, we have Irish Coffee. I don't know if you can see that bottle. It's almost like a dark red color compared to the lighter beige caramel color of the last one. Let's give Irish Coffee a spray here. I'm gonna tell you before this, I like this one a lot, so here we go. We'll do 2 good ones on the strip here. Wow. So this one, I wasn't expecting what this fragrance is. So when I read Irish Coffee, for some reason I was thinking like Irish cream. Are you familiar with like just Irish cream, the creamer? Very sweet, you know? That's not what this is at all. This is legitimately Irish coffee. And if you're not familiar with that, it's like taking a cup of coffee and like dumping like 10 shots of whiskey in it. This to me is a fantastic gourmand boozy fragrance. This is a whiskey fragrance. If you're into boozy fragrances, you're gonna love this one. This one's just absolutely, for the price, once again,
$35.
This smells really good. And I personally think that this is the most complex of the whole collection. I mean, you smell it, it's a little bit spicy. It's almost like, it reminds me if you were drinking like an Irish coffee, like on a holiday, almost like a Christmas. It has like a festive vibe to it. I'm also picking up like a very nice sandalwood. The dry down of this fragrance is very nice and woody, and it really comes through. So the opening is a little bit peppery, little spicy, like cinnamony, soft. It gives you that holiday vibe. You get hit with like vanilla, you get hit with the Irish cream mixed in with heavy amounts of booze, almost like whiskey and rum, kind of all mixed together. And then as this starts to dry down, it gets very, very woody. It almost completely transforms. Like I said, this is the most complex of the whole collection. This one transforms into a very nice woody fragrance. I get coffee, I get patchouli out of this one, I get vanilla out of this one, I get the whiskey or like rum smell out of this one. It's very good. You got the pepper in the opening, you get the holiday vibes. Once again, $35. This would be a must for my personal collection if I didn't buy all 5. Next up, we have Mocha. As you can see, again, the color of the juice is a little bit different. It's like a light brown color, as you would expect, being it called Mocha. If you want to, compare it to chocolate. All right, let's give this one a spray here. We'll do 2 more of this bad boy. Atomizer's consistent with the rest of the collection. Bottle's nice. I mean, like I said, just very worth the price. I don't know, it's crazy to me. How are they making perfumes smell good with high quality for like a $35 price range when our designers can't even do that and charge $200? Different topic. Here we go. Here is Mocha. All right, so here's the thing. Out of the whole collection, this smells like a mall to me. Walk through a mall during Christmas time, like a shopping center, walk through a mall during Christmas time, and that's kind of what Mocha smells like. Now here's the thing. Mocha is probably the most underwhelming. I don't want to say underwhelming, that's a little harsh, but it's the strangest and the most challenging of the whole collection. You go into this expecting like a strong chocolate coffee vibe, and this is not what that is. This is like a total Oriental style fragrance, but there's something that's gonna turn people off to this. This is a cardamom bomb. As soon as you spray this, you get hit with like just insane, like ear flooding and nose nauseating amounts of cardamom. And if you're not familiar with cardamom can do in a fragrance, it can give off the vibe of like BO, like straight body odor. So the opening of this fragrance is like just overwhelming, powerful body odor to me. Now here's the thing, I don't dislike that. I don't dislike cardamom in fragrances. So if you like cardamom in fragrances, you'll probably love this fragrance. If you don't like that and you're sensitive to it, you're probably gonna absolutely hate this fragrance. As Mocha starts to dry down, you do get like a soft rose in it, and I do get a little bit of like tobacco comes out a little bit. It's very strange fragrance. You get like that cardamom bomb, you get like roses, so it's like BO roses and a little bit of tobacco with like mild, light hints of chocolate. The first time I wore this, I didn't get the chocolate at all. But as it kind of like macerated and I had to chill a little bit, I do get very subtle amounts of chocolate, and it's not like a dark chocolate, but like almost like a chocolate coffee bean was roasted with light rose, heavy cardamom, a little bit of tobacco. This one's complex too. It's not as complex as Irish coffee, but it's definitely fresher too. This is probably one of the fresher fragrances in the whole collection. And when I say that, I mean like you can tell there's florals in here, and it's very like lifting. But like I said, if you don't like cardamom, you might not like it. To me, it wasn't too bad, honestly. I'm probably gonna, we'll go over the ratings later. I'm gonna give you what I think is the best and what I think is the worst. Here's a secret. This one might be the worst. Next up, we have Kopi Luwak. Let's see, what's the color of this juice? It's almost like I don't even know what that is, I'm colorblind. But what does Kopi Luwak mean? Well, if you're not familiar with it, it's an Indonesian drink, and it's called Kopi Luwak. Now, it's not a coffee bean per se, but it's the style of how they get the coffee bean. Now, I was told that is the most expensive cup of coffee in the world. It's like a treasure over there in those countries. Now, what is Kopi Luwak? Well, you have the palm civet, which is an animal that's kind of freaky looking, and what he does is he eats coffee beans and then he poops them out, and they take the beans from the poop and they do some kind of crazy process and basically brew the coffee with those beans, and that's why it's so expensive. So your question is, will this smell like poop? I don't know. Let's find out. Spray this bad boy, 2 sprays once again, and here we go. So I'm gonna tell you this right off. Here's the thing, with this one, Kopi Luwak, now this is how I expected Mocha to smell. If this was called Mocha, I would have believed it 100%, because to my nose, right off, I smell roasted dark coffee, and I smell very intense, deep, rich chocolate, kind of a sweet chocolate. Now, what this evolves into, what I'm getting from that is I get rose and I get oud. This is a rose oud fragrance. Kopi Luwak, if you like rose oud style fragrances, that's what this is in the collection. It is a rose oud style fragrance with heavy chocolate and nice roasted coffee. This is a really good one. I really enjoy this one. It smells nothing like poop. There's nothing offensive in this, but it's definitely dark and rich. So right up top, once again, you get a really nice medium to dark roasted coffee. You get a very nice, like warm chocolate vibe that's a little bit sweet. You get nice florals from the rose. You get the oud wood, which is probably there to simulate the animalic notes of the Kopi Luwak coffee, but this is not animalic at all. It is not challenging at all. In fact, it's really good and I really like this one. $35, I mean, it's a steal, I'm not gonna lie. Last but not, oh my God, I can't even talk. Last but not least, we have Qahwa. Now this, I'm not exactly sure if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how I would say it, Qahwa. And I believe that is like the word for Arabic coffee. I don't know if it's a specific type of coffee or drink, or if there's specific seasonings or spices in there. But what I do know is the color of this is kind of like a green color. All right, here goes the spray here. We'll do 2 more of Qahwa. This is last but not least, definitely. Now, this one to me is really good. I would say this one is very close to my perfect style coffee fragrances, but there are some things that hold it back, but oh, this is good. This is a nice, spicy, medium roast coffee with just like cream in it, and it smells really good. It's not overly sweet, it's just very good. It's out of the coffee collection, this one to me is the most coffee smelling. Like it's just standard coffee. The other one's a little more stylized. This one's coffee. I get cardamom out of this one too and cinnamon, but it's not overwhelming. It doesn't have that BO smell. This one's honestly a little bit smoky. It's almost a little bit leathery too. As it starts to dry down, it starts getting a little woody. You get like cedar wood in here, sandalwood maybe. I believe it's cedar wood. It's not as creamy or smooth as for sandalwood. And a little fruity too. Almost the same vibe as the previous ones, almost like a plum or like dates maybe. It's a very chewy gourmand. This one's really good. This is Qahwa. This one's solid, man. This is like a wake up at 5 in the morning when it's dark out and drink like black coffee and put a little bit of cream, a little bit of cinnamon in it. That smells really good. Now let's talk about these fragrances. Let's review them of what I think is the best and what is the worst. So right off, number 1 personally for me has to be Qahwa. Qahwa to me, and you know why? It's just because it smells really good. It just smells like a nice medium roast coffee with some mild spices in it. It's just a coffee fragrance, and this is the coffee collection, so that's what you'd expect. This one will be the most recognizable to most people when you just think of coffee. Really good. The projection and longevity of all these fragrances are pretty moderate, I would say. The longevity lasts good though, I mean 6 to 8 hours. The projection starts to taper off around 4 to 6, but for $35, that's absolutely amazing. So Qahwa's my number 1. My number 2 is kind of a no-brainer also. I'm giving that to Kopi Luwak. No poo-poo in this one, guys, no poo-poo. But I just, you know, I'm a sucker also for rose oud fragrances. And when you mix rose and oud with coffee, it smells really good. Less on the coffee, more on the rose and oud, but it's smooth. It's not challenging, overpowering. I know some people may be sick of the rose oud combo style fragrances, but if you're not, or you haven't experienced one, I think this is a very good starter one to check out because it's not overpowering. Oh, and you get that heavy dark chocolate note. Now, you know, I want to say this before we get to Mocha. I feel like Mocha shouldn't have been in this collection. There should have been 4, and this should have just been called Kopi Luwak Mocha, because this smells more like Mocha than I was expecting Mocha to smell. So this is my number 2, Kopi Luwak. Number 3, and this was almost a tied for 2 because I like it a lot also, is Irish coffee. Now this one was really good. If you're into boozy style fragrances, for the $35 price, I would say this has to be in your collection. I mean, you just have to get this, it's really good. An overdose of like a realistic holiday style whiskey and coffee drink that's sweet. It's just really good. It's very complex. It dries down. There's like notes of plum in here, a little bit rosy. You know, there's a little bit of sandalwood in here. It's smooth. It's just a very good fragrance. This is my number 3 Irish coffee. So here's the thing. Number 4 and 5, I have to tie these because I like, for me personally, I like the smell of Mocha a little bit more than caramel macchiato. That being said, caramel macchiato is gonna appeal to a broad audience. This is very sweet. This is too sweet for me, so it was gonna be number 4 tied with 5, but I could see a lot of people loving this. If you love caramel macchiatos or you drink those, or you like sugary, syrupy fragrances, get this, you'll like that. But I don't know, I like Mocha a little bit more, but Mocha also, for most people, you're not gonna probably like this one. It's very strange smelling. I don't wanna say challenging, but that cardamom bomb note in the beginning definitely brings out the BO smell a little bit. It does dry down and get a little woody and just changes, a little complex, but I don't know. And you know, the freshest out of all of these has to be Mocha and Kopi Luwak as far as like the freshness, because there's more florals in these, followed by caramel macchiato. And the darkest two are gonna be Irish coffee and Qahwa. So let's go over that one more time. Number 1 is Qahwa. Number 2 is Kopi Luwak, which was kind of tied with Irish coffee, but we'll say that's number 3. And number 4 and 5 also were kind of tied, but if I had to be a stickler, number 4 is Mocha, and number 5 is caramel macchiato. I mean, honestly, out of this whole collection, the most disappointing for me personally was caramel macchiato. And it's just because it's just too sweet and like fake synthetic smelling. Does that make sense? For what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the perfect coffee fragrance, and sadly this wasn't it for me. The closest one had to be Qahwa, but once again, I mean, is this good? Does this end my hunt? I don't think it does. I'm still looking for something maybe a little bit more spicy, a little more cinnamon, a little bit more cream. This is very close though. I would give this probably like an 8 or 9 out of 10 for what I'm looking for. And then for, you know, just uniqueness, Kopi Luwak is awesome. Oud and rose, I love it. Chocolate, Irish coffee, great boozy surprise. Gives me like a Christmas Eve vibe when, you know, when I was little. Kind of reminds me of that. Very nostalgic. Overall, these fragrances are really good. Like I said, $35 price range. They all smell like way higher quality than that. So I'm gonna put some links below where you can check them out. And I did do some reviews of some other coffee fragrances. I'll post them up. I have blend number 83. I'll post that up here by Imaginary Authors. I also did one of Amore Cafe by Mancera that I'll post up there. Now all this talk of coffee, it makes me want to go drink coffee. Like I said, I can't even drink coffee because I can't have caffeine or it'll explode my head. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave.